Boyle going down, and now Dean Janikowski and Lucas Dunker Jr. has made his first kickoffs this year. There have been a lot of moving parts there, but is it fair to say it's been pretty darn smooth?
Yeah, and he's done a good job, not only schematically. He's a good football coach. He's been around some guys who know what they're doing. He's been through some scenarios. He's actually, for being a fresh face and a new personality, has been a real consistent sounding board in football discussions. The Boyle situation right before the first game that threw us for a little loop, but Dean came in, made some field goals. And then Lucas getting his leg going on kickoffs has been great. But what really stands out obviously Travell is very talented and had an incredible week. What I liked hearing the most was Travell and Coach Krantz really applauding and thanking and sharing in that maybe glory with the rest of the guys on the special teams units. He's really done a nice job being inclusive of everyone having a job to do and everyone feeling like they had a part in making that a special day.
Last couple of weeks, starting on the Utah State side, he did not have a monster game against us, but Savon Scarver's had a lot of big games kick returning. Travell Harris, reigning Pac-12 Special Teams Player of the Week, has been one of the great special teams players in Cougar history. He's got the 100-yard kick return against Eastern. He's been so good. Is that scheme and blocking? How do some guys have a knack for that? What is it about some guys in special teams where they can pop them? Is it just athleticism and top-end speed, or is it vision? What are the key elements to that?
I think all those things help. Travell can definitely make you miss. I think it's very important to Travell. I think it's something he enjoys. And I think what comes down more is the guy coaching special teams and kind of doing what we talked about earlier. You should see the block Joey Hobart has on one of the big returns. You should see the effort he puts in. And it's not Kyle Krantz sitting there just applauding Travell Harris the whole time. He's showing what Joey did in adjustment and the effort he puts in. I think he's really included everybody in having a role, and feeling responsible for success and holding them accountable when it's not up to par. I think he's very honest. And I think and Travell's got one of those personalities that is really magnetic also. And so guys, I think, play for him. I think they work for him because he appreciates it and they know how important it is to him and how competitive he is.
How often do you see something like what you mentioned with Joey Hobart, where he had the big block and special teams, converts to quality play on offense or on defense, but in this instance offense because Hobart's a wide receiver?
You talking about Joey?
Yeah.
Joey is the way Joey loves football and loves playing football. He doesn't have a real he never has really down days on the football field. He may drop a ball even though he's got great hands. He may not run the right route one time, but he always does it with enthusiasm in his body language. He's very durable. He's going to be a really, really good player in multiple areas of the football game for a long time around here because, he's got a lot of football. He's got a lot of Cougar years in front of him still.
We've found our way here into the wide receivers. Talking with Coach Rolovich, we are off the 20-point win over Portland State, getting ready here for USC. It's Trojan Week here on the Palouse. But one of the real breakouts in the game was Dejon Stribling. He had a 5-reception game, 65 yards. He had only had a couple of grabs against Utah State and kind of had a quiet debut here. And he's one of the guys who, from the jump, when he got here, he's looked really good. He's just a true freshman, 6'2", about 200. I bet you were excited for Dejon to really get into the mix in earnest against the Vikings.
Yeah, first game had a couple catches. I think we may have forced a couple throws to him, and and this has been a topic that's been brought up around here that we would necessarily, or I wasn't terribly used to as far as the rotation of receivers. I think coaches on offense, I think it was a big discussion. We felt like we can get guys in because you see Travell on multiple special teams, you see Joey on multiple special teams, Lincoln. And I think getting guys in and out, Mitch got in the game, played better in the second game, gave him, because Strib is a big producer on special teams also. So I thought kind of mixing it up with giving guys a little bit of a rest probably helped them. And it was good to see him. I mean, that whole shot throw was, and the, just the awareness to get that 1 foot down. I'm not sure what it looked like on TV, but I know it was very close when you look at the game film. And he he's had I wouldn't say a terribly unique road, but to come here mid semester and trust us for a year, and because there was nothing. This was a long conversation between us and Strib for a long time, and good to see him have some success.
Yeah, he was one of the top-ranked wide receiver recruits in the country coming over from the islands, from Hawaii. You mentioned Jaden DeLora. We've been talking wide receivers here. Let's shift a little bit to the pass game, from coming off the bench in Game 1 against Utah State to starting once again now against Portland State. He was one of the top-ranked quarterbacks in the pack this past week. How'd you assess Jaden DeLora's performance against Portland State, and what do you think will work moving forward?
Well, I think it was good enough to win. It was, and it's not even the physical stuff, the throws, the runs, it's all that. It was his presence, I thought, is, I don't want to say light years, but it's so much different than last year. I think he's comfortable in the system much more. I think he's comfortable with his teammates. I think he's just definitely, like, I don't know if you heard this or I said this or whatever, but on that 4th and 9 or 4th and 8, whatever it was at the end of the game in the red zone, I was struggling. Like, do we kick a field goal? Is that rubbing it in? Do we need another touchdown? Do we try to go for it? And Jaden says, let's go for it. I said, okay, there's a decision. What do you want to run? I wanted to see how he reacted. And, he called that play to score a touchdown, that last score. And I thought that confidence, he's having fun playing the game. And I think he's playing free in a controlled environment within the offense.
What other players have you seen play the QB position like him? I mean, we don't have the biggest sample size. He's going to evolve as a player, and players change some things and make adjustments as they get better and as they tweak their games. But what kind of quarterback is he? Is there another quarterback that you think is a good comp for DeLora?
I don't really have one off the top of my head. Do you have any?
Is the top version Johnny Manziel? Is that fair? Is that kind of the best version of that, where he's just so creative back behind the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, I mean, that could be that the style could be similar. He's definitely playing a lot better than and he sees it, and we can talk about it. This is, he I don't know that he went through the whole game, but I know him and Stutz were talking about last year's game, and this is early in the week, and Jaden said, man, what was I doing last year? Or something along those lines. Yeah. But he didn't have it. Nobody had a chance last year. It wasn't, it takes time to feel comfortable with all the ins and outs of this deal. And I think it shows maturity for him. He didn't mention me, mentioned it to Stutz, but even to look at it and think of it that way, it shows improvement and shows us that we're on a good path.
That's exciting. Big one coming up here. He's got the chance for redemption here against the USC Trojans. We'll take a break. We're up against it. We're talking ball here with Coach Rolovich. We'll have our Director of Athletics, Pat Chun. We'll have Bernard Bell and Calvin Jackson Jr. on with us here in just a bit. We're live at Zeppo's.
Business as usual is a thing of the past.
Back at it here live at Seppo's. Great to be with you. We're talking ball here with Coach Rolovich. We'll have our Director of Athletics, Pat Junn, on here in a little bit, and we'll talk to the wide receivers, the inside guys, Renard Bell and Calvin Jackson Jr., new to the inside this year. We were just talking offense, quarterback play, wide receiver play here with Coach Rolo. And, the guys who never get enough credit, we've talked about these guys for years now, Coach. The offensive linemen, you praised them off the top. When we first started the show, you said the big guys were doing their thing. Who played really, really well against Portland State? Who's been steady this week in practice?
Well, Liam, Abe, the guys you really would expect, who are good players, but have a mentality. I think that's been elevated and settled and elevated. They have a controlled, mindset right now as far as it's very driven. I know they always had desires for success in NFL, but I think they've really it's so consistent between those two, and I think it's been great for Jarrett, Connor to get good reps in there. Cade and Maake. It's good to get Maake in. I think he's one that, will have a definite future at O-line in this program and has been valuable being able to play a bunch of positions for us. So that Coach Webb's done a nice job with that group. I think they trust him. And they are, we all got stuff we can get better at, but I thought they improved from week 1 to week 2 for sure.
Yeah, Maake is one of those unique guys who can move around to different spots. Can every offensive lineman do it as well as he can?
Hard to say, but that's just the opportunity and the role that he kind of finds himself in.
Sure.
At this point in time, but being able to take reps at left tackle and right guard and left guard if he needs to is. It's some guys cannot do it. Right. Maybe that's the better way to say it, where it's just a comfort level. Maybe it's a way they process things or look at things or comfortability on one side or the other. But some tackles can go to center, kind of direct traffic. But I think cross training them is very important in the case of the ability to get your best 5 on the field at game day. So I think Webb's done a good job like that for a few years now since we've been together.
Yeah, it's exciting to see Maake, big 6'5", 293 from Snohomish, and actually we played against his brother in the Cheez-It Bowl. He played for Air Force on the D line there. He's a really good ball player. Let's do a couple of write-in questions. Here.
I remember that. I remember that guy. But Maake, the confidence from spring is tremendous. I think he's smiling. He's glad to be a part of it. He's really playing. It's a mindset, and I think it's all growth. And I thought he's had tremendous improvement since last year to this point this year.
I'd love to hear it. Yeah, he's been a lot on special teams, and I've seen him in practice there, bouncing around. You know what? We've got a couple write-in questions here, but I want to ask you. The offensive linemen who rep as hard as any. We know the starters. Christian Hilborn, Roderick Tialavea, and Jernias Tafia are 3 really good-looking youngsters on the offensive line. They've played really well, haven't they?
In practice?
Yeah, because they haven't gotten in the games much.
Right.
But they've repped pretty well. I've heard good things about.
You were trying to bamboozle me a little bit.
No.
No, they're all young guys.
Yeah.
And offensive line is very it's very infrequent that a young true freshman or second-year player is a real contributor. I think it takes a lot of development, physically, mentally. It really helps that they have good leadership on the offensive line, especially Liam and Abe, and Brian Green. Guys who have been around here for a while. I think that is very helpful in showing them the way. But yeah, we're excited about that young group. We got a long way to go with those guys, but they got to be ready. And Christian Hilborn, the true freshman, is one that what was great for us to see. Coming into camp and not being afraid, enjoying his process, and but also showing some physical ability to be a contributor at some point.
It's exciting.
Probably early in his career.
Yeah, that's exciting. A lot of depth to come there. All right, write-in questions here. Ryan wants to know, his father is somewhat confused. He grew up in Los Angeles, went to Washington State. His heart hurts that he's torn for who to root for. What do I tell him? What does he tell his father?
Well, so his father grew up in L.A.
All right, so let's get it straight. Let's get it straight
here.
I'm going to read it exactly as how
is
he wrote.
Is Ryan's heart settled? I think that's the question we should start. It sounds like Ryan's heart's settled.
He says, my heart hurts that his heart hurts that his dad is torn for who to root for. So his father feels torn, lives in L.A., went to Washington State. Strikes me as a no-brainer, but that's just me.
Went to Washington State. Would he come for ice cream, or did he come to school here? You know what I mean?
Right. He didn't just go to – right, yeah. We got to go Cougs in the back here.
Yeah, that's just a drama thing.
Yeah. Okay.
He didn't just come visit.
I don't think so. He didn't just go to Ferdinand's and bounce. No, I think he –
that's good. Ryan, you can be all right, brother.
He'll figure it out. Yeah, he'll get – hey, of all the other head coaches – again, another writing question. Okay. Of all the other head coaches, who would be the most fun on a road trip?
Okay, let me go through it. Jimmy, Wilcox, Shaw. I might roll with Wilcox.
Okay, all right.
I might roll with Wilcox.
All right, we'll see him in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, we'll be sure to tell him there at Cal Memorial Stadium.
No, he better say that. Ask him first. If he doesn't say me, then don't tell him.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Thanks to Ryan for those write-in questions. We're going to take a break. Yeah, those are fun. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We're live here at Zeppo's. Great to be here talking ball here with Coach Rolovich.
Chazanow.
Back at it live here at Zeppo's. We're talking ball with Coach Rolovich. We'll have our Director of Athletics, Pat Chun, on. We have him on headset. We'll have him on live in just a second here to talk about some logistics coming up on Saturday with the big game against the Trojans. Coach, real quick, what does USC show you? What strikes you with this USC team? Before we cut you loose, I want to hear some Trojan talk from you, just briefly.
Talented talented athletes, like most of us would know. Not afraid of man coverage. On defense, they've got guys that can rush the passer. Good. I mean, they got good players. Offensively, I think 15's a really good player. The receiver, you look at a tall 6'5", 210, 215. So you think jump ball guy. This kid, he'll catch and get vertical, and he'll get you tough yards. So, and I think 16 was a good pickup for him to make some plays down the field. He made a couple good touchdown catches with, I thought, good just wide receiver skill in his tool belt. So, I think they've gotten better up front, and you got a quarterback who's got another year under his belt, so he's going to have a good familiarity with the scheme and where to take his throws.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks for this time, as always. It's a pleasure to have this time with you each week, and we'll talk to you again on Saturday.
Well, that's nice of you to say, Chaz. It's nice to be here with you.
Thank you, Coach. That's Coach Rolovich here. We're going to take a break. We'll come back with our Director of Athletics, Pat Chun, live here at Zeppo's.
We at Boeing.
Talking ball with our Director of Athletics, Pat Chun, who we wish a happy birthday. We wished him off the air. We'll do it on the air as well. Great to have you on Headset here. This Saturday is not only exciting because of the opponent and everything that's always on the line, but it should be packed, and it should be the best that a college football environment and weather and all the things you can't control about the Palouse are at their best right now. It's just a beautiful time of year here.
Yeah, I was just left a meeting with President Schultz with our regents, and he reminded everybody, Saturday night is the best parts of Washington State and Pullman. We're on national TV. The stadium will be full. Our team's ready to go. They're facing a level of adversity that you feel they have a lot of empathy for their student athletes, and we know they're going to come out really inspired to play. But in my year, if I was thinking about this, I came here in February of 2018. I saw images of the 2017 USC game and the Jihad's tackle and the students storming the field, and you're like, wow, that looks amazing. And then if we were a myth that kind of came to reality when game day showed up with Oregon here, I mean, we have a reputation nationally. People know that, hey, this place shows up. And we have a legitimate home field advantage at Giesa Field. We need it for this game, but it's going to be the best parts. I told our regents today I really want to commend our students. They've shown up. We've probably had 9,000 students there. They've impacted the game. They've impacted soccer and volleyball and football as well. I'm also warning everybody, we're going to have a full stadium. We do have labor shortage issues like everybody else around the country.
Okay.
So I would warn everyone, get into the stadium earlier. If you're going to go get concessions, go earlier. Things are going to take a little bit longer for the right reason. And the reason we're all there, and I see Calvin and Renard in the back, is to support these young men as we go try to do what we do in Pullman. We just go beat teams. Doesn't matter who the opponent is. It's the best home field advantage in the Pac-12 and the West Coast, maybe the country. But Pullman's going to be Pullman Saturday night, and it's going to be fun. It's just one of those moments where you're going to take a deep breath and say, you know what a privilege to be a part of something like this.
Yeah, I feel uniquely so for a lot of reasons, but one of them, the panorama that is the Palouse over the stadium, because I'm up there a little bit, and I don't know, if you're down, you get that great field view, but when you're up, it looks like a painting.
Yeah,
it's
scenes only you could see from the Palouse.
Yeah. There's nothing like it,
and nobody wants to come here.
Right.
Yeah, because they know how crazy our students are.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about this week. We probably should start counting how many false starts our students create.
So I was just about to say, you can see the whole student section, false start by false start, just elevate in decibel level. They have a direct effect on the game.
Yeah, and it was wild. Even that first game, I'm sitting there thinking, wow, it's loud. I've heard the stadium louder.
No doubt.
And then I think Saturday night's going to be or Saturday afternoon, national TV, must-win game for both teams, must-win game for Washington State. I think we'll see the best of everything.
Yeah, it's a really big one. And USC is always USC, but that 2017 game is near in the memory and in the hearts of Cougs, because we've been there twice since, but that was the last time they were here.
Yeah, and this is and it's we know what's at stake here, but it's going to be fun. And I was talking to Calvin earlier, had a great week of practice, and you guys, everyone here, you want to talk about two difference makers, Calvin Jackson, Renard Bell. So you've seen Calvin make plays this week, but I want to salute Renard Bell because everyone knows he's. You want to see a definition of a difference maker? He's injured. He's still impacting the game with his voice.
Yeah.
So now he's probably saying a lot of things you can't see on the air, but he is doing his part to make sure the opponents know exactly who we are, and that's a testament to Renard's character. That he might be on one leg right now, but his heart and soul is all Washington State. And man, when he's back next year, I would get out of his way.
He's one of the toughest guys in the country.
Period.
There's no doubt.
Period. I'll take those guys over anyone wearing what are their colors?
Love it. Well, let's talk to them.
Yeah.
Let's get whatever colors they may be.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pat.
All right,
thanks
go
for
Cougs.
the time.
All right, thanks, Jazz.
Happy birthday.
All right.
Well, thanks for working.
Bill Stevens, you're in trouble.
Our director of athletics, Pat Chun. We'll take a break. We'll get the receivers on next. the wide receivers, Renard Bell and Calvin Jackson Jr. We got the seats all situated here. Now, if you're listening and you're not watching, Renard's now taller than Calvin Jackson Jr., which you made a point to tell him.
Yeah.
That's an important point here. Renard, it's great to talk to you because we haven't had a chance to do this. You've got the injury. How you feeling? How you look? You look great. You got no braces on, no nothing on. What's going on? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I just got off the crutches last Friday.
Love it.
Hit 8 weeks. Hit 9 weeks this Friday. But now it feels great to be off the crutches and walking again.
I bet. I bet it does. I know you scared a couple. Now, I don't know if you know this, but you scared a couple people at practice celebrating this guy's touchdowns. I'm pointing at Calvin Jackson Jr. because you were on the crutches. But the crutches were up in the air, and you were on the feet on the crutches. You just couldn't contain yourself.
Nah, I love celebrating with my boys, like all of their accomplishments and, the progress that they're making in practice. I love celebrating with them. And the crutches wasn't going to hold me back. They never were.
So what was it like for you to have this perspective, which is different? First time in a long time you haven't been out there, and you're watching him do his thing as a starter on the inside and playing really good ball, catching touchdowns.
Oh, it feels it's far different from actually being on the field and just being able to observe and see everything. Because when you're just observing, you can see all like the the little things that you weren't able to on the field, like where you might make your cut in the route or how you might just make a move on a defender. So you can see all the little things and how they move and stuff like that. But it feels good to be able to help them, and especially CJ moving from the outside to the slide and helping them learn the playbook and stuff like that. So now it feels good to just be there for them.
Calvin, how much has he become a little bit of a coach?
Oh, my gosh. He's going to be a great coach in the future, I can say that.
Do you want to be a coach? You do? Maybe one day. Okay,
sure.
Yeah. What's he saying?
Oh, he's always in my ear, even in the game, if he sees some stuff that I don't see, he'll come to the sideline and talk to me about it. And that's why I'm saying it's really good to have him on the sideline and have us coaching us in the back.
Run me through last Saturday 22-yard touchdown catch, an acrobatic one.
All right, well, I knew the play call was going to end up coming to me at this point. So I lined up and I saw outside leverage of the DB, and we practiced this all week. We're going to see this outside leverage DB, so we're just going to stem at his shoulder, hit the fade, and Jaden's going to put a ball where I need to go up and get it. So did exactly that, came down with it. I was excited.
All right, let me go back a little further here. I think fans would be curious to know, when did you, to what degree you could share, because I don't want to, no competitive advantage for USC here giving up, but – when did you know, oh, this is my play, I'm going to get this? When is it before the, almost like during the play call, you're going, oh, I know that play?
Yeah, it was during the play call. I could say that. Like breaking the huddle and just coming out, I just knew the ball was going to end up coming to me at some point.
How has chemistry developed with Jaden, Jaden Delora? He wasn't the starter game one, but you've repped a ton with him, and you had him all last year to whatever degree you had last year. How much has that evolved?
Oh, chemistry is great. Like I said, both of those guys did a great job this fall camp in preparation of playing, so they both could have played. And it was sad to see Jared go down, but, like I told people previously, it was real good to see Jaden keep his head up and step up when he needed to step up.
All right, Renard, give me your memories of 2017. And let's go, something that I think a lot of folks know, but just in case, where are you from?
Los
Angeles, California. Okay. So what does that mean? What does that 2017 game mean to you? And what are your memories of that game?
Man, that 2017 meant a lot because that was my first time playing USC. I live 5 to 10 minutes from the Coliseum.
Is that right?
Yeah. So when they came into Pullman, I'm like, yeah, this is my new home now, but y'all gonna get this, So, but I just remember coming out Friday night, 8 p.m. like they always do us, but I remember coming out, just the crowd was just electric, just having packed out stadium. I mean, I'm pretty sure they oversold the stadium too, and just coming out that day was amazing too. That was I want to say my third or fourth playing in the college game too, but making that 61-yard grab that I had on our sideline and just hearing the crowd when I caught the ball. And then when we kicked that game-winning field goal, and then when Jamal scored in their corner, he threw up the fight on his eye. Man, we was just, that game was electric, throughout from the start to the end. So, and then when the crowd rushed the field, that was amazing right there. I still get chills from it today. Like when I watch the clips on YouTube, I still get chills from it.
Hey, by the way, congrats to Jamal. You see he's returning kicks and punts right now for Saskatchewan in the CFL. Yeah, great guy. All-time guy. Just a fantastic. Can't wait to we'll get him back here at some point, after CFL or whenever it is. He's awesome. Hey, need something to smile about? Try taking home your share of millions in jackpots at Northern Quest. That'll do it every time. Northern Quest, now playing, now paying. We've got the final segment, a little bit of an elongated segment coming up with Calvin Jackson Jr. and Renard Bell live here at Zeppo's Talking Ball.
You may be eager to break ground on a new outdoor project.
Back at it live here at Zeppo's. We're talking ball with Calvin Jackson Jr. and Renard Bell. Had a little bit of an off-air discussion. We'll go peek behind the curtain. We're talking about the guys that you're in touch with, guys who maybe were mentors when you guys were newer or younger here on the Palouse. Who are some of the wide receivers, Renard, that you keep in touch with who are either playing CFL or NFL ball or have moved on and graduated but you still keep in touch with?
I know for sure Aesop, that's the main one that I keep in touch with. Like when I came back to LA, he to get surgery, he was there, so I hung out with him a couple times. But that's the main one. I keep up with Marcellus Pippins every now and then, just because that was my boy when he was here. So it's a couple people that I keep in touch with.
Great players. Aesop had great moments. What about you, Calvin?
Yeah, I would say Aesop too.
Yeah.
I actually spoke to Tay a few days ago.
Oh, how's he doing?
He's doing great. I'm excited for what he has to offer this season because he's a very, very explosive player, very, very well-charactered player. So
not gonna lie, it breaks my heart a little bit every time I look at that Big 12 scores sheet and I look at you talking about Tay Martin.
Yeah,
right?
Tay Martin. Yeah.
I'm like, he could be. But I wish him well.
Yeah, always.
Really, really good ball player and a great guy. All right, we've got USC coming up here. What does this year's version show you? When you're looking at film and you're getting prepped for this year's edition of the USC Trojans, what do you see?
I would say probably we're getting the same thing they gave us last year.
A lot of returners.
A lot of returners. They got a lot of great athletes over there. Just going to challenge us a lot on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm just excited for it.
Boy, Renard, this must be a little bit frustrating for you. I can kind of see it in your face. You got the furrow of the brow. You must be just itching to get out there.
Yeah, for sure. I watched that game like at least 90 times. After, like, although we got whooped, it was so frustrating because there was a lot of things that just went wrong with the game that if we just did it the right way, it would have been a totally different outcome. So,
I thought there were a couple moments last year that highlighted how, frankly, weird last year was for all the reasons that everybody was going through in different variations. But it felt like that game in particular, maybe that one and maybe second half at Utah, they really highlighted how strange last year was. Is that fair to say, Calvin?
Yeah, I would say that, with me going down week one, just knew that year was just going to be kind of weird and all that stuff. And then playing out those few games and having a game get canceled on the game day, it was just very odd. Yeah. So I'm just glad we got everybody back for this next year.
Yeah, have you offered any perspective to Renard about, because you just did this last year. You had the hamstring, and Renard's got something going on here. That's part of the sport and happens, but
yeah. I spoke to Renard. He knows he has to go to treatment, make sure he stays on top of all that stuff.
You stayed on him, didn't you?
Yeah, make sure he stays on top of all that stuff. That's just the main focus, because, I just wish we could have him out here this year with us.
No doubt. No doubt. How has the move inside been? How different is it?
Oh, it's really, really, really different.
Is it really?
Say that much, yeah. Because outside, I wouldn't say it's simplified, but it's a lot more thinking and movement and stuff that you have to do on the inside. A lot of stuff you need to understand, from coverages to certain defenses to certain alignments and all that stuff. But like what I said with Renard and Travell and all those guys that played slot last year, they helped me out a lot.
Do you take different kinds of hits?
Oh, yeah. A lot more hits than I took on the outside, but it's part of the game, so I love it.
I like Renard's got the nod of affirmation, like big
does.
Difference. How different is it?
It's because you got to deal with the linebackers 24/7, so it's a big difference, especially when you got to go block them. I just remember my first block on the back. I think it was Montana State, and he kind of. My shoulder just felt numb after I hit him. I was like, it's totally different.
Does it put more emphasis on technique for blocking? I mean, Drake Jackson, he's 6'4", 250. He's a big boy, so you're gonna have to block him a little bit.
Yeah, it's not all about power. It's all about getting putting your body in the right position to cut him off from the run that's going a certain way. So you got to play that in perspective. But you might catch him slipping here and there, so you just got to take the shot when you have it.
How much do you guys glean from, I'm thinking about when Hercules was here, when Mata Afa was here, he was notoriously undersized for some of the things he was doing, which at this point now, Renard, you can speak to this, you're undersized, but you're just productive. You're all packed preseason, and you've had many 100-yard games, and all. It's a little bit, I guess, overrated to be undersized, and it's sort of a cliche, but do you look at guys like Hercules on the defensive side to see, okay, this is what they're trying to do, so here's how I can counter it, and talk to him about that at all?
I mean, you can look at it that way, but like I said, it doesn't matter the size of the person. It matters about how much heart they have on the inside of them. That's what I pride myself on. I'm not the biggest, I'm not the strongest, I'm not the fastest, but, I got a lot of heart, so I'll just leave it out there on the field at all times.
You agree with that, Renard?
Oh, for 100%. 100%. That's all it's all about, because you could be the biggest dude and not have any heart and just go down with, you just get a little, nick on your shoulder or something like that. So it's all about heart at the end of the day.
What's the hardest hit you've taken? Calvin, I'll start with you. Do you remember? And you don't need to give anybody too much credit here if you don't want to name them or anything, but are there any moments where you go, that was a big one?
I would have to say in JUCO when we were playing in Garden City. It was like with my first year at Independence, and caught a bubble screen, and outside guy missed his block, and
got walloped.
It just wasn't a pleasant feeling.
As part of that, you mentioned JUCO, because there's some of the biggest hitters in the country in the pack. Is part of that you being big, smarter, and you're bigger, faster, stronger, so you kind of know how to maneuver out there a little better?
Yeah, I mean, if you catch the ball at a certain point and you can see someone coming at a certain angle, you'll be able to protect yourself. It's just those hits where you don't see those people coming and it just catches you off guard.
Same. You agree with that, Renard?
Yeah.
You've taken a few shots?
Yeah. For sure.
All right, I've got some write-in questions for each of you guys, and I meant to get to these a little bit earlier, but we're good. We've got about 5 minutes or so. For Calvin, do you think the last chance you guys look back and think they really missed the boat on not highlighting the best personalities? Did you watch the show, and did, how much awareness do you have of that?
Yeah, I binge watched it like the first week it came out, but The whole purpose of the show is to highlight people that were going through certain situations and, you know, a little bit about problems that they were going through and all that stuff. And, like, my mindset when the show was there was just go there and get out as fast as I can. So I wasn't really paying attention too much of the show and the recordings and all that stuff. So, I mean, the cameras were there. The cameras recorded me and all that. It was like, why weren't you on the show more and all this? I was like, I don't know. I didn't really pay much mind to it.
So I'm getting the sense that maybe some guys did pay a little more mind to it.
You had those players on there.
Yeah, a little worried about the camera, like the bright lights.
Yeah.
All right, for Renard, 40 years from now,
Dang.
will you tell your family the story of the pants down guy against Stanford?
It's crazy because when you ask about big hits, that's the first thing that came.
Is that right?
I might tell him that, but 2015.
You don't need to wait 40 for that one.
Oh my God, but not yet. I for sure might have to tell him about that. That was hilarious.
Yeah, you know, that happened so fast. What was that? Did you even realize?
I didn't even know.
I didn't see it. I called it, and I didn't even see it till after someone showed me a picture, and I thought like I was dreaming. I thought it was photoshopped. Like I thought it was fake. So when stuff's going on, you can't possibly have that much aware. I mean, there's awareness and field awareness, but not for that.
I mean, because when I got up, I felt like I got up like facing away from him.
Right.
So like he was behind me, so I didn't see. But if I for sure would have turned towards him,
hey, buddy. Yeah.
we might have got a 15-yard penalty on the game.
Yeah. Oh, that was really funny. Hey, you know, the other guy I was thinking of from this year's Frankie Louvu. You know, Frankie's done great things for the Panthers. One of the special moments he had was in the snow against Stanford. He had an interception in front of his family. His father hadn't seen a game. Those are the kind of moments that can happen on a Saturday like this one coming up, right? And things that you just never forget, be it pants down guy or something maybe a little bit more impactful than that.
Yeah.
Do you just try to stay in the moment, Calvin, when you're coming up with a game like this? Is it just truly, as cliche as it is, hey, I got one play at a time, I got Chris Steele or Taylor Stewart or whoever on me, and that's the guy I got to beat?
Oh, 100%. You know, Rolo does a great job of telling us to take it one play at a time because, you know, you can have a bad play, then get back into the huddle, and if you're thinking about the last play, you can mess up on the next play. So, you know, you got to have a short-term memory, especially at receiver position.
How much do you care about, I mean, this is going to sound like a little bit of a maybe not a weird question, but does the opponent matter? Your preparation sort of is what it is, right? Renard, I'll start with you.
Nah, the opponent doesn't matter at all. It really doesn't because anybody you playing, anything could happen, especially in football. You take an opponent too lightly, they'll show up and, you know, embarrass you. You know, so that's one thing. You never want to take an opponent too light, no matter who it is. It could be a high school team. You want to go out there and show them, nah, this is college. Yeah, we're different, you know. So, but yeah, you never want to take an opponent too lightly ever.
These are your first two starts here this year, Calvin. You had the behind-the-back grab that we talked about on the air on the radio broadcast a couple of weeks ago. And, that got a round of applause. That was a great snag. But you have now – do you feel like you have settled into, okay, I'm out there after the coin toss, I'm starting, this is my spot. Do you feel like you're comfortable in your role?
Yeah, I would still say I'm comfortable. You know, like that first one, you know, it was little pregame jitters and stuff like that. Like, dang, this is really happening and stuff like that. But, you know, used to coming off a little rotation with Leach and all that stuff.
Right.
So getting out there and getting myself going and knowing that I'm starting and knowing that I need to, like, be ready mentally and all that stuff is just different. But, you know, I'm used to it now.
Renard, we don't need to do this, but give me your impassioned, your plea for decibel level in Martin Stadium at Giesa Field. Give me your call to the fans for how loud you think they should be coming up on Saturday.
Extremely. Extremely. Like, it got to be the loudest that it's ever been. We might need to, you know, set a world record for how loud the stadium has to be on Saturday because we got to be louder than the last time we played them. You know, we always want to raise the level each game. So
I love it. I love it. Those that student section, those false starts are fun to watch.
Oh yeah, that was great. I love that.
Yeah,
got me kind of hyped a little bit.
Yeah, the students have really shown up.
Oh, they have. Great. Yeah, they've been great. I'm really excited for Saturday.
Can't wait. Thank you guys, Calvin Jackson Jr., Renard Bell. You guys, fantastic representatives for the Cougs. Everybody's proud of you. Really are. Thank you guys so much, and thanks for doing this. Did a great job. Huge thanks to Jerry Kylo, who gets us on the air. Jared Prenguber is the man behind the camera. Everybody here at Zeppo's, great to see everybody. Thanks to Coach Rolovich and to our Director of Athletics, Pat Chun. It is, a 12:30 kickoff, I think, 10:30 airtime on Saturday with Derek Dice and Grady Emerson. Will be up in the booth at high noon for the Cougs against the Trojans. Thanks to Jake Hermana back in the studio, too. He does such a great job. Thanks, guys. Go Cougs, boys. Go Cougs.